Hello, I am Alexis de Lattre from Acquisition France. In the first part of this screencast, I will show you one of the development I made in December 2015. You may have heard about it already. It was announced on Acquisition's blog as Acquisition's Christmas present for the Odoo community. And this development allows the easy import of supplier invoices in Odoo. Nowadays, we receive most of our supplier invoices as PDF file by email, or we have to download it from the supplier's extranet. And with this module, you can import it very easily in Odoo. Let me show you. So I'm logged in my Odoo version 8. I go to the accounting menu. In the supplier section, I have a new menu entry, import invoice. So I click here, it starts a wizard, asks me to select the PDF invoice. I click select. I go to the relevant file. So here that's an invoice from my internet provider. I click on import, and that's it. My supplier invoices has been automatically created in Odoo. I have SFR, French internet provider. I have the supplier invoice number, the invoice date, the purchase journal in euro. I have one invoice line with internet access, the proper expense account, the proper tax, okay, and the total without tax is 1666. Here is the amount of VAT, and the total with tax is 1999. The PDF of the invoice is stored as attachment. Let me show you this invoice. You see the total amount is 1999, and here the total untaxed is 1666. So, and that's it. So it's all good. So I can validate. Okay, next one. I select next invoice, next TT, up, import invoice, and that's it. The supplier, invoice number, invoice date, that's our office rental bill. So it goes to the proper expense account. I have the start date and end date because it's a quarterly bill for the Acquisitions office. Here is the amount. There's no VAT on this invoice. So it's all good. I can validate. Next one. That's an insurance bill. Okay, let me import it. Up. He has selected our insurance company, the invoice number, the date, etc. One invoice line, office insurance. That the expense account, again, start date and end date. To get that, you need the OCA module account cutoff prepaid that I wrote a few years ago, and that allows an easy computation of cutoffs because it's a yearly invoice, so you may have to cut it if your fiscal year is not a civil year. Okay, there's no VAT on insurance invoice in France, so I can validate. Okay, import invoice, select. Here I open this invoice from the Tribunal of Commerce. So here the invoice number, etc., the proper expense account, etc. What's interesting here, it has configured a VAT, 20% VAT. And it says in the chatter the total tax amount has been forced to 325 euro. The amount computed by Odoo was 18, sorry. So if I look up in the attachment, that's because on this invoice only a part of the total amount is submit to VAT. So in fact there's only 325 euro of VAT, and it has automatically forced this amount on the invoice. That's what is shown in the chatter. Okay. So it's all good. I can validate. Import invoice, select, Free Mobile. It's a mobile phone operator in France. So good supplier, the invoice number, invoice date, etc. You have the total amount here. In the chateau it says the total tax amount has been forced to 266 euro. The amount computed by Odoo was 267 euros. So he has just forced because was 1 cent of difference between the amount computed by Odoo and the amount on the supplier. But that's okay. I validate. And the last one, the last invoice I have to import, it's a train ticket. It's from Capitaine Train, a website that sells train tickets in France. Okay, it has the description of my travel. It was a train from Paris to Lyon. The expense account of travel expenses. There's no VAT on the train tickets in France. That's all good. I validate. So as you can see, I was able to import in a matter of seconds several supplier invoices as PDF file, and it's very easy to use. How does it work? Well, let me show you. The configuration is pretty easy. For example, I go to Free Mobile. So on the supplier, that's the supplier form. So in the accounting tab, I have the VAT number that allows to match between the PDF file and the supplier. It's matched by the VAT number. And here there's a new setting, invoice import configuration. Okay, let me show you. On this import invoice configuration, I've set the method for invoice line. I've set the expense account, but for this supplier, it's always the same expense account. The taxes, for a mobile phone operator, the tax is 20% VAT in France. I could have set an analytic account here, and I have forced the description as mobile phone. Okay, and that's it. That's the only configuration you have to do. So this system works very well for recurring invoices. I mean monthly, quarterly, yearly invoices that you get from the same supplier, and for which the invoices go to the same expense account and the same analytic account every time. So that's usually the case for your electricity bill, your water bill, your phone bill, your internet bill, your office rental bill, your insurance bill, your train tickets, your plane tickets, etc. So there's many invoices that for which you can automate the import with this new Odoo module. So you should really try this module because it will save you time encoding your supplier invoices. It will reduce mistakes because it makes sure that for a particular supplier it's always sent to the good expense account, the good analytic account. It's pre-configured, so you cannot no possible mistake on the expense or the analytic account. And because it's fun to import it becomes a funny work to import your supplier invoices. I'm sure it was not that you didn't find it that funny in the past. Technically, how is it working exactly? Okay, the magic behind this module is in the invoice to data Python library. It's available here on GitHub. It's how does this library work? It starts it uses a PDF to text extraction tool. So it extracts the text of the PDF, and then it has a database of templates. I will show you here. It's in the templates subdirectory. For example, I have a template for each of the supplier that I've shown you in the demo. For example, this one, Free Mobile, that's the template for Free Mobile. So you have some regular expression that extract from the raw text. It extracts the total amount, the total untaxed amount, the date, the invoice number, and it identifies the VAT number, the VAT number of Free Mobile. And with this information, it's enough to create a supplier invoice in Odoo. So here you will find the templates for several suppliers, I mean mobile phone operators, internet operators, etc. Train ticket providers, and you can add your own templates. It's very easy. It takes only maybe if you are familiar with regular expressions, it's no more than 5 minutes to add a template here. You see it's only 10 lines of YAML. It's very fast. So this system is great. It works well, but it has one major limitation. If you change, if the layout of the invoices of the supplier changes, doesn't work anymore because the regular expression won't match. So we can say that it's a bit precarious. It's a bit fragile because every time the layout of the supplier changes, you have to update the template, to update the library on your Odoo server, restart the Odoo server. Well, no, you don't even need to restart it, in fact. But so it's a bit, yeah. And that's the second part of my screencast. The PDF format is very good to have a nice layout of the invoice. So it's good for display in your PDF reader. It's very good for printing on a sheet of paper. But the PDF file is not good to carry out structured information about the invoice. For that, we usually use other file formats such as XML. XML has the ability to carry out structured information about an invoice. So I started to dig and to search what are the XML formats for an invoice. In fact, today there are two main XML formats for invoicing. One of them is the Universal Business Language, UBL. It's this standard has been developed by the OASIS, a famous standardization body, probably already heard of. It's currently in version 2.1. And there's another international standard for XML invoices. It's called Cross-Industry Invoice. It has been developed by the UN CEFACT, which is a standardization body of the United Nations. So you have two international standards for XML invoices. But it's not very common to send an invoice as XML. So there's a standardization body in Germany that invented the ZUGFeRD format. This format is they developed a very clever idea, I think, very simple and very clever idea. The idea is that we continue to use PDF as a format for invoices, but inside the PDF file we embed an XML file, and they didn't reinvent the wheel. They used the XML file of the cross-industry invoice. So you probably know that it's possible to embed, the PDF files can embed the font, for example. You may have heard about it. So a PDF file can also embed an XML file. And so with this system, it's you don't change your habits. You continue to send your PDF invoices as email to your customers. And then the customers, they can do it the old way. They can open it in their preferred PDF reader and encode it manually in their accounting software. But if they have a good accounting software such as Odoo, they can use my import module to import it automatically using the XML file, so as to be independent from the layout of the invoice. So let me show you a demo of what I developed to be able to. So we will invoice one of our so we'll prepare a customer invoice. Here I have a draft customer invoice from Comp2Comp. It has 4 lines, an iPad, well, 3 iPads, 8 USB headset, some shipping costs, etc. With VAT. Okay. It's a draft invoice, so I can still update it. Let me, oops. Okay, it's a draft invoice. Okay, so now I validate this. Oh yeah, and also I show you the payment mode is SEPA credit transfer. So let me validate this invoice. Okay, I validate this invoice. Okay, so it has taken the invoice number here. So I do print invoice, as usual. Print invoice. Here, that's my PDF invoice, okay, as usual. Seems like a regular invoice. Let me save it. Okay. So, as usual, I send it by email to my customer. Okay, invoice. You will find enclosed my invoice. Okay, I attach it. Where did I put that invoice? I don't remember, of course. Okay, 1 second. Okay, here it is. Sorry. So I attach my invoice. I send it by email as usual. So now let's say I'm Comp2Comp, so let me receive that invoice. Okay, I receive this invoice here. Okay, let me open it. Okay, that's my invoice. Let me save this invoice here. So this invoice is in fact a ZUGFeRD invoice. So let's have a look at it before importing it in Odoo. So let me open it in Acrobat Reader. Well, that's my invoice, okay? But here there's a special thing. Here I click on the attachment. That's the embedded XML file in ZUGFeRD format. Let me open it. That's the XML file. You see it's a cross-industry invoice format. You have all the information in a structured form. You have the invoice number. Here you have the invoice date, okay, today. You have the seller, Accretion France, with my VAT number. That's the VAT number of Accretion France. You have the buyer, okay, the customer, Comp2Comp, with the address. You have the payment mode, SEPA credit transfer, with the IBAN. It's a demo IBAN and a BIC, okay. You have some information about the tax, so the VAT at 20%. You have some information here about the due date. You have all the details about each line. Here you have the iPad, the quantity of the iPad, the amount of the iPad, the quantity is here, the unit of measure is here, and you have the details about the second invoice line, and then the third invoice line. You have all the details in a structured, the shipping cost here, all the detail of every line. Okay, so now here in this browser I am on the Odoo of Comp2Comp. Okay, so I will import this invoice. Just same thing as my first part of the screencast. Where is it? That's my ZUGFeRD invoice generated by the Odoo of Accretion. So I import it. Here it is. So it has, what happened here? Odoo extracted the XML file from the PDF file. So it parses the PDF file, the XML file, sorry, and then that way it is able to have the details of every line, the exact description, the exact unit of measure, the exact quantity, the taxes, etc. So it is able to import this invoice independently from the layout of the PDF. So that's the magic about the ZUGFeRD, the ZUGFeRD format. So all these developments are available in the Odoo Community Association project called Account Invoicing. It's currently in a pull request. Here it's this pull request, which is called 8.0 import regular PDF invoices and generate and import ZUGFeRD invoices. It works, so in this pull request there's four modules to make it work. Well, you can refer to the README of each module to get more information about each of them. So it's available for Odoo version 8, but it's easy to port to version 9 or we've been using it at Accretion since February 23rd, 2016. All our invoices that we sent to our customers were ZUGFeRD invoices with the so it was PDF file as usual with the XML file embedded in the PDF. As you've seen, I'm very passionate about the potential of electronic invoicing and all the time that can be saved for the accountants and all the potential of this new standard. If you want to ask me some questions or send me an email about it, don't hesitate. That's my email address. Thank you for watching this screencast, and I hope that you like this new development and that you will use it. Okay, bye bye.